into chapter 3 for the readings because I forgot. But we're doing chapter 4, Overhill and Underhill. And next chapter is Riddles in the Dark. Excited over that. Okay, so favorite part in this chapter is like the description of the thunderstorms and the lightning and all that. Okay. So, he knew that something unexpected might happen, and he hardly dared to hope that they would pass without fearful adventure over those great tall mountains with lonely peaks and valleys where no king ruled. They did not. All was well until one day they met a thunderstorm. More than a thunderstorm, a thunder battle. You know how terrific a really big thunderstorm can be down in the land and in a river valley, especially at times when two great thunderstorms meet and clash. More terrible still are thunder and lightning in the mountains at night, when storms come from the east and west and make war. The lightning splinters on the peaks, and the rocks shiver, and great crashes split the air and go rolling and tumbling into every cave and hollow, and the darkness is filled with overwhelming noise and sudden light. Bilbo had never seen or imagined anything of the kind. They were high up in a narrow place with a dreadful fall into a dim valley at one side of them. They were sheltered under a hanging rock for the night, and he lay beneath a blanket and shook from head to toe. When he peeped out in the lightning flashes, he saw that across the valley the stone giants were out, and were hurling rocks at one another for a game, and catching them and tossing them down into the darkness, where they smashed among the trees far below, or splintered into tiny bits with a bang. Then came a wind and a rain, and the wind whipped the rain and the hail about in every direction, so that an overhanging rock was no protection at all. Soon they were getting drenched, and their ponies were standing with their heads down and their tails between their legs, and some of them were whinnying with fright. They could hear the giants guffawing and shouting all over the mountainsides. "This won't do at all," said Thor, "and if we don't get blown off or drowned or struck by lightning, we shall be picked up by some giant and kicked sky high for a football." "Well, if you know of any better place, take us there," said Gandalf, who was feeling very grumpy and was far from happy about the giants himself. At the end of their argument was that they sent Fili and Kili to look for a better shelter. They had very sharp eyes, and being the youngest of the dwarves by some 50 years, they usually got some sort of jobs when everybody could see that it was absolutely no use sending Bilbo. "There's nothing like looking if you want to find something," or so Thorin said to the young dwarves. "You certainly find something if you look, but it's not always quite the something you were after." So it proved on this occasion. That's a good line. Sorry. Soon Fili and Kili came crawling back, holding on to the rocks in the wind. "We have found a dry cave," they said, "not far round the next corner, and ponies and all can get inside." "Have you thoroughly explored it?" said the wizard, who knew the caves up in the mountains were seldom unoccupied. Yes, I said, though everybody knew they could not have been long about it. They had come back too quick. It isn't all that big, and it does not go far back. That, of course, is the dangerous part about caves. You don't know how far they go back sometimes, or where a passage might lead to, or what is waiting for you inside. But Fili and Kili's news seemed good enough, so they all got up and prepared to move. The wind was howling and the thunder still growing, and they had a business getting themselves and their ponies along. Still, it was not very far to go, and before long they came to a big rock standing out into the path. If you stepped behind, you found a low arch at the side of the mountain. There was just room to get the ponies through with a squeeze, and they had been unpacked and unsaddled. As they passed under the arch, it was good to hear and the wind and the rain outside instead of all about them, and to feel safe from the giants and the rocks. But the wizard was taking no risks. He lit up his wand, as he did that day in Bilbo's dining room that seemed so long ago, if you remember, and by its light they explored the cave from end to end. And you know, that happens when the cave opens and the goblins come. I have, like, one other just tiny favorite part in this chapter, which I think is funny. It's when they're running when Gandalf comes and rescues them, and Bilbo says, "Why, oh why did I ever leave my hobbit hole?" said the poor Mr. Baggins, bumping up and down on Bomber's back. "Why, oh why did I ever bring a wretched little hobbit on a treasure hunt?" said poor Bomber, who was fat and staggered along with the sweat dripping down his nose in his seat in terror. Poor Bomber. Can't go. I'm excited because this chapter's next, Riddles in the Dark. A chapter that has scared the crap out of me since I was a child. I'm excited. Okay.